One more guy that I had thoughts about, and this is again kind of more like Vezenkov, like the idea of moving Murray to the traditional three and having a starting four. Grant Williams, I don't think he accepted that contract with Boston. Would have been an extension. I think he's a free agent this offseason. And you'd be getting a pretty versatile defender that's been on a successful team. I think the offensive questions obviously are kind of big because he had an up and down offensive season, if I'm not mistaken. He's not really playing right now. But I always like Grant Williams. I like my tubby guys, and I feel like it's at least interesting to bring up. I mean, he might be more of a, given the fact that he kind of turned down a deal that maybe he should have taken. Maybe he feels like he's not going to get his best offer. Maybe he's a candidate for, and I don't know if the Kings want to do this, but like a 1-year deal type of thing, get him back on the right track. But again, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think I feel like, especially considering some of the guys we're talking about here, you maybe would feel better about other guys than Grant Williams. But I feel like I got to throw it out there. I mean, how do you feel about Grant Williams coming to Sacramento potentially?
So Grant Williams is a restricted free agent this offseason. He scored his career high this year with 8.1 points on 40% shooting from three, and he shot 41% last year. Career 38% three-point shooter. I don't know. He's only started 58 of the 288 games he's had. I feel like that's kind of like a big ask. Just like, all right, Grant Williams, you're our starter for our third seed team. Like, you better produce decently. I feel like that's kind of like a big question mark just because he hasn't really held this role. So I don't know. I just think that's a little too big of a risk.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean,
maybe off the bench.
Yeah, see, and that's where it gets interesting because it's like, well, again, kind of talking about like staggering different type of skill sets. You got kind of Grant Williams, and then who is proven to been. Now, I think there's a bit of a split on how people view him as a defender because, like, he's versatile. I think you read a lot about his defense. That's all you hear about. Like, look at him guard all these different positions here. But, like, when you get into defensive stats, and defensive stats are always, like, a little misleading, but you have to take it into account with the eye test. Like, defensive stats-wise, he's really not that impressive. So it's like, I don't know. But still, I feel like he's a pretty good defender. I feel like with put him with Mike Brown, maybe you'd be able to maximize that upside, and you'd have potentially him and Vezenkov on the same team. Again, it's like staggering different skill sets there. Again, without getting too far ahead, but I think you're right. Grant Williams probably get signed by the Kings, and even as a restricted free agent, I don't know what Boston's gonna do with him.
Yeah, maybe not matching our offer if it's not in their price range for him.
Yeah.
I hear it. It is interesting, though. We'll see. Maybe
I just really liked Grant Williams last year. I like Grant Williams.
I like Williams.
But
I don't know. I don't know about that guy, though, in Sacramento.
Yes. But you have to consider all these different options because the theme today was...
No, not him.
We'll just cut that part out. But just on the overall theme of hypothetically replacing Barnes, it's a nice, interesting mix. Both good options, bad options, realistic options, and unrealistic options. So we gave you a little bit of everything, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and, comment who maybe you think an option is too. For the small forward or wing, maybe move Murray to the 3. I mean, there's so many options out there that I'd love to hear your opinion or your voice.